Salatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. Today is our third class in section 2.6, and it will be the last. Today we will solve the remaining recitation exercises. We will practice by solving some old exam questions, and we will have a semi-quiz at the end. One question about old and even functions. Let's remember together the transformations that we have. We have shifting, vertical shifting. When we add a positive, and when we replace, I want you to think about it about like replacing only. When we replace the function by a function plus a positive number, this is shifting upward, C units, downward, C units, if we subtract. When you replace x by x minus c, and c is a positive number, this is shifting to the right. So here, in these two cases, we have horizontal shifts. When we replace the function by the negative of the function, this is a reflection in the x-axis. When we replace x by negative x, this is a reflection in the y-axis. For the stretching and shrinking, we have also vertical and horizontal. When you replace the function by a function multiplied by a number, if this number is greater than 1, this is vertical stretching. The amount of this stretching is c. The factor of stretching is c, or shrinking in the case of vertical. In the case of the horizontal, when we replace x by cx, if this c is greater than 1, this is horizontal shrinking. What is the amount of this shrinking? 1 over c. And of course, if it is less than 1, it will be stretching, and it will be 1 over c. Of course, because c is less than 1, 1 over c will be greater than 1. This is why it is reversed here. And instead of stretching, it is shrinking, and vice versa. What I'd like to emphasize on this, is this part. If you have a graph of a function y equals f of x, this is the point on this graph. Now, in the new graph, when we have a vertical stretching or shrinking, what will be the new point? The point on this graph will be this one, x and c, y. So just y will be multiplied by what? By c, whatever c it is, bigger than 1 or less than 1. But of course, it is positive. If it is negative, just it is about reflecting. Similarly, in the case of horizontal shrinking, of course, if this point is on the original graph, what will be the new point on the new graph? It will be x over c. Why? Because the factor of shrinking and stretching is 1 over c, the reciprocal. To understand the horizontal and vertical stretching and shrinking, it is good to have this interesting recitation exercise. In the figure below is the graph of the function f. What you need to do is to sketch the graph of the function g. What is the function g? It is negative a half of x over 2. Please, in your notebook, try to sketch the function g and explain how you obtain it. What is given for you is the graph of f. What does he want? He wants the graph of g. What is g? It is the value of f at x over 2 multiplied by negative a half. It is negative a half of x over half of x. Make it easy. You have to do it, I believe you can do it in 2 steps, 3 steps. To be better, you can start with f of the half of x, then the half of the function, then negative half of the function. What I suggest is to start with f of x over 2. Y equals f of x over 2. Sketch the graph of this function. In the next stage, sketch the graph of the half of the function. And in the last one, you can sketch the graph of the previous one with, this will be g, by the way, with reflection at the end. This will be, let's do it here. This will be y equals to the half of the function at x over 2. And here we will draw the graph of y equals g of x, which is negative a half of f of x over 2. Who got it? Can you describe it?
The numbers for x will multiply by 2 because this is stretching.
So what we have, what is this? This is horizontal stretching. So what does that mean? That all the x values will be multiplied by what? By 2. Because the factor here is 1 over c. C is a half, so it will be multiplied by half. Let me think about it this way, show you this way. If you have a point x and y, what it will becomes under this effect? It will be x and what?
2x.
It will be 2x. It will be x over the half, the multiplied by x, because this is what? It is a half of x. So now it will be 2x and y. For an instant, take a point like 2. This point is what? 2 and what? 2 and 0. What it will be? 4 and 0. So the new graph will be like this. According to this transformation, the new graph will be from 4 to -4. And this is, of course, still the same. When x is 0, it will be multiplied by 2. It will be 0. 0 and -2, the same. So what happens that it has been vertically stretched, horizontally stretched. Now, in the next one, what will happen here? No, this is not reflecting. Vertical shrinking. This is vertical shrinking. If you have a point x and y, under this transformation, what it will be? It will be x and the half of y. So for an instant, give me a point that y will be changed. Take the point, this point. This point, it was -2 and what? And 0. What it will be now? It is here, this one indeed. We are not taking this because this is in the old one. It will be what? -1 and, sorry, it will be, if we take -2 and 0, by the way, it will stay -2 and 0. So this is not the good point to take. What is the point that we will take? 0 and -2. Now it will be what? The same 0, the same x, and -1. So this means that the graph, what will happen to the graph? It will be vertically shrunk. This is -2, this is -2, so it will be like this. So we will have here -1. This point will be -1 at 0. This is the x-axis, the y-axis. Excellent. Now the last transformation that we have is what? Reflecting in the. Yes, do you have a question? Yes, thank you. You are right. Yes, this is 4 and -4. Yes, you are right. Thank you. Excellent. This is 4, -4, and 4. Now this is step number 1. This is step number 2. So we are obtaining now the graph. This is now the third one. So what we will do in the third one? Reflecting in the x-axis. This means that, for example, any point x and y, it will be transformed to what? Negative x and y. Is that right? X and -y. So here it will be x and -y. I'm talking about x and y in this graph, in G, of course, not the original one. But if you want to go over that, it will be x and y. This is 2x, it will be 2x and half y, and so on. So this means, for an instant, if you have here what? Let's take the point -1 and 0. 0 and -1. 0 and -1. What will happen? It will be what?
0 and 1.
0 and 1. It will be multiplied by what? By negative. So now it will be what? The graph will be like this. It will be above the x-axis, reflected in the x-axis. So this is 4, -4, this is 0, this will be 1, and this is, of course, the final graph that we have. Here it is. I think we have it here. It is much clear here. Now, who can obtain this by another method? Do you have another method other than working with the graph? We can solve this one. Yes.
By points, stretching the point.
This is what we did. We stretched the point. So this is why the graph at the end has been stretched. I think, Shabab, it is not, of course, what we did is the best. What we did there, what we did here is the best way. But I believe that if you can realize, what is this graph? It is what? Who can tell me what is this graph is? It is y equals to what? F of x here, it is what? Again? Square root of what? It is square root of 4 minus x squared. Are you sure? This will be above the x-axis. This is negative the square root of 4 minus. You didn't realize that this is the half, the semicircle or the lower half of a circle. This circle, x squared plus y squared equals to 4. This is the circle. If you continue, this will be a circle. This is the lower half of the circle. Now, if you want to sketch the graph of this function, what you will do, you will apply these transformations. Look, what you will do. Now, let's start with f of x over 2. It will be what? Negative 4 minus, you will replace x by x over 2. Simplify, what you will get. This is not, of course, practical, but just to have an idea. Here it is. Now it will be negative square root of what? 16 minus x squared under 4, under the square root, it will be 2. So it will be, we will have here negative half. Is that right? After simplification. Are you with me? Now, this is f of x over 2. If you, for example, if you put x equals to what? When it will be 0? At what? At 4. Now, when x is 4, it will be 0. When x is negative 4, it will be 0. So this will show you that this one, it was 0. It was 0 at 2 and negative 2. This will be 0 at what? 4 and negative 4. Now, if you multiply it by negative a half, which will give you, of course, the function g of x, what you will get? It will be 1 over 4. Negative by negative is positive, a half by half, square root of 16 minus x squared. This is the final graph. So what you will do, you will sketch the graph of this function, which will be, of course, an ellipse. Now, to sketch the graph of this function, when x is 0, you will get 1. When x is 4 and negative 4, you will get 0, and this will be the graph at the end. The graph of this function is this. It is an ellipse, by the way. It is the upper half of an ellipse. It is at 2, at 1. What you have there, it is the upper half of the ellipse. The shape that it is like this. This is ellipse. Okay. The circle is a special case from the ellipse. Okay, now the second part is about find the domain and the range of G. Clear from the graph. The domain is from negative 4 to 4. The range is from 0 to 1. Clear if you have the graph. What about if he asks you this question before the graph? He didn't ask you to graph. Just he asked you what is the domain of this function. I can ask you one way to sketch the graph. How to find the range here without sketching the graph. So let me go back. Let me go back, and I have no place here. Okay, my question now is what is the graph? What is the range of this function without sketching the graph? You will find first the domain of the function f. What is the domain of f? Negative 2 and 2. What is the domain, the range of f? From the graph, from this graph here, I'm talking about this one. From negative 2 to 0. Now, we need now the graph of this, the domain and the range of this function. Negative, a half of f of x over 2. Okay, how to do that? What happens to the domain? The domain of G will be what? Negative 4 and 4. How? Multiply by what? By half. By the reciprocal of a half, which will be 2. Now the range of G, here, this is about this obtained from here by multiplying by 2. Now the range of G will be obtained from this one by what? Multiplying by negative a half. So what it will be? Of course, here in this case, look here. If it is what? If it is greater than or equals -2, less than or equals what? 0. Now, if you multiply both sides by what? By -1/2, what will happen?
We'll change the inequality.
This will be less than or equals what? 1, greater than or equals what? 0. So this is why it will be. Of course, you cannot write it like this because some of you, they may do it like this. Sorry, 1 and 0, but this is not the right way to write the intervals. The intervals cannot be written with the bigger number at the beginning. So it is 0 and 1. This is G. What we have here is G between 0 and 1. But of course, the best way to find the range, it's still, of course, the graph, if it is easy. Now, let's go to talk about even and odd functions. Which one of the following statement is true? Which one of these? This is the last recitation exercise. Which one of the following is true? Think about it in your notes, and you need to explain each one of these. Is it, if it is not even, what is it? If it is neither or odd or what, how to justify your answer. Think about it, take your time. Tell me about the first one. If you raise your hand. Yes, the first one. Why? So it is not even. What is it? If it is not even, what is it? Can you show that? This is what you should do. So how to justify? He said it is even. If you said true, yes, it is even, show it is even, why? And also if you said that it is not even, so if it is not even, what is it? And show also what is it? How to show that? So this is what you should do. Start with the first one. So this is A. A is what? How to know that, ya shabab, a function is even and odd? The function is even if you replace the f by x by -x in the function, you get the same function back. This is even. And also this is the same if we said that the graph is symmetric with respect to what? The y-axis. The function even, it means symmetric with respect to the y-axis. Now, if you replace x by -x, you didn't get the function back, you get the negative of the function. Then this is odd function, and its graph will be symmetric with respect to the origin. Okay, so now what we will do always to find out if it is even or odd, first of all, we will simplify the function. Can you simplify this more? Simplify if you can simplify. If you cannot simplify, go and replace x by -x. What we will do, it will be what? -x plus 1 over -x. Odd or even or what? Are we good? This is the function. Is this the function? Is it the same as the function, the original one? Is it the negative of the original one? How to know? You need to take negative as a common factor. So here you will have x, here you will have negative, it will be negative, it will be positive back. And this is of course negative. This is now the original one. So this is negative f of x. So what we can say about this one? Odd. Since it is odd, this is wrong. So this is false because it is odd, not even. Yes.
Between the brackets, it's a plus sign. It should be negative because we took the negative as a common factor.
Yes, this negative we took it, and this one we took it.
Right side.
We take negative as a common factor. This negative and this negative, they are factored out.
So the plus sign should be
Positive over negative is negative. Is it okay now? It is the same. Positive over negative is negative. So this is why we get it back. B, it is what? It is true. Let's see. He said that it is neither even nor odd. So f at -x will be what? 1 minus cubic root of -x equals 2. What is cubic root of -x? Can we simplify it? Negative x, it is -1 multiplied by x. We can distribute the odd radicals even if we have negative inside them. It is not like square roots. So this will be what? 1 minus negative cubic root of x, which will be what? 1 plus. Is it the same as the original function? So this is not the original function. So what is it? Is it the negative of the original function?
No.
It is not also. If you take negative as a common factor, you will not get your function back. If you take negative as a common factor, you will get -1 negative cubic root. And this is not the negative of the function. So it is not negative the function, not the function. So it is what?
Neither.
It is neither. Now, let's go to C. So this is the right answer. So this is true. But we need to practice to see why the others are not. I think it is clear for you that C is what? C is not odd. So this is false, this is false, this is false. But why? So this is false, this is odd. This is not odd. What is it?
Neither.
If you replace x by negative x, you will get what? Negative 3x to the power 3 plus 2x squared plus 1. Is that right? It is not the original function. It is not the negative of the original function. So this is not the function, not the negative of the function. So it is what? It is what? It is neither. It is neither. Both. This one is neither. This is neither. The D is what? Again, if you replace x by negative x, what you will get? Negative x to the power 3, because x will multiply by itself 3 times. This will be negative 3x plus, again, why it is like that? The absolute value of negative x is the absolute value of x plus 5. Again, this is not the function, not the negative of the function. So it is also what? It is also neither. The last one, it is odd, not odd. So what is it? Even. Replace x by negative x, what you will get? Negative 4x plus x to the power 3 over negative x to the power 7 plus 1. This is square root. We cannot, of course, here take a negative as a common factor and take it out. So it will stay. What is inside here, the square root will stay as it is. And of course, what is next, what is in the denominator is what? Is it the function, the original function? No. Is it the negative of the original function? What about if we take negative in the denominator? We will have x to the power 7 minus 1. This will stay as it is. So it is what? It is also what? Neither. It is not the function, not the negative of the function. Excellent. So the answer is B. Please, ya shabab, solve this one. Which one of the following is an even? Which one is even? Please, I will give you now a semi-quiz similar to this question. It is about odd and even. So you need to understand how to decide if the function is even or odd or neither. Think, pair, and share. You can think alone. You can, of course, discuss this with your colleague next to you. You think it is what? E. Good. Do you agree with him?
Yeah, I agree.
So Abdulaziz and Abdulaziz, they are saying that it is E. You agree with him, Shabab? With them?
Yes.
The answer is E. Why? The first one. The first one is what?
Neither.
How to show that?
The square, it will remain.
This is neither. Because This is x squared, and you have x here. So they will, one will be positive, one will be h of negative x will be x squared minus x. I didn't do it in details because it is clear for you that you will replace x by negative x. We shouldn't do this all the time, ya shabab. You should be aware about that. Of course, it is clear that this will be x squared minus x. It is not the function. It is not the negative. If you take negative as a common factor, you will not get your function back. So it will need to be the function, not, so this is not the function, not the negative of the function. So this is why it is neither. Similarly, you can of course justify the others. This one,
Oh, we did it in the.
this one is odd. We show it here. You remember? This one, also we show it here. Here. Just it is there one, here it is 3. For this one,
Also, like,
this one is what? We didn't solve similar one. Let's solve it here. So it will be the absolute value of negative x minus x. So this will be what? The absolute value of x plus x. Is it the original function? This is not the original function. Is it the negative of the function? Take negative as a common factor. It is not negative, the original function. So it is neither. Again, this one is neither. So the last one, it looks like it is the right answer. How to show it? Even if you said that it is even, how to show that it is even? What you will do, you will replace x by negative x. This will be equals to what? Negative cubic root of x, because it is odd radical. We can get a negative out. And here we'll have negative x to the power 3 plus x. Is it the original function? You said we need it to be even. It is not clear that it is the original function. But what we can do, we can take negative in the denominator, negative here in the denominator to be what? X to the power 3 minus x. And here we'll have negative cubic root of x. Now this negative will be cancelled with negative. Negative over negative is positive, and we will get our function back. This is hx, so this function is what? It is even. Okay, any question about this? Let's solve another one. This one. Please try to solve this one. Which one of the following statements is true for the odd function f? So here, f is odd. This is what is given for us. Function f is odd. Then which one of the following is true?
Symmetric y-axis mean even.
Right. Symmetric with respect to the y-axis means even. Symmetric with respect to the origin, odd. Symmetric with respect to the x-axis,
not function.
not a function at all. For sure, this is not an option. Of course, it is a function. F is a function, and we will see next class that when we have a function and you multiply by a number, it will stay a function. So this is not an option at all. So this is for sure, this is false, not true, because no function symmetric with respect to the x-axis. Okay, so you are playing now with A, B, C, and D. There is no E. It is totally wrong for any function. Not true. Abdulaziz, the first one. Who can tell me about the first one? Let me give you a hint, ya shabab. What does it mean when we say f is odd function? It means that f at negative x is what? Negative f of x, and the graph is symmetric about the origin. Use this fact. If you use this fact, you can decide which one. Rahman, You have an answer? Who has an answer other than Abdulaziz? Hello, guys. Yes. C. How to show? What do you think?
Yes, yeah.
Fx, first of all, it's even.
Let's start with A. What was your decision about A? A, it was what?
It's not true.
So he said it is symmetric with respect to the y-axis. It means even. So what is it? If it is not even, what is it? This means, ya shabab, that it is what? Even. This is the meaning of symmetric with respect to, you can replace this by what? By even. So why it is, if it is not even, what is it? You know, who know what is it? How do you know that C is the right answer if you don't know that A is not the right answer? How to know? Let's give it the best way, Shabab, is what? Let's give it a name. Let's say that G of X, it is this one. I will call this one G. This is another function. Now I will use the fact. What is F at negative X? It is negative f of X. Why? Why? Why I replaced this by this? Because he said that the F is what? F is odd. I just use this fact. So this will give me what? Negative by negative, positive. So this is F of X. This is our function back. So what? F of G, this function, this one, it is just what? It is just F. So what is it? Odd, because F is odd. Hello, where are you? So B, who knows? B is odd or even or what? You said that it is not right. So it is not even. What is it? To know what is it, let's call it H, for example. H is what? Is F of X minus F of negative X. Simplify the function. Now this will be F of X negative F of X. Is that right? I just replace this one by negative of the function because it is odd. So what we will have here? We will have plus. We will take this in the next section, Shabab. When we add two functions, the resulting also is a function. The sum of two functions is also a function. So we will have here what? Something plus the same thing. So this is what? 2f. This is 1 real plus 1 real. It is 2 real. 2f of x. So now, f is what? If is odd, when you multiply by 2 by a number, it will stay odd. So this is odd. If you want to check. What instead of x negative x, what you will get? You will get what? F of negative x. What is f of negative? It is negative, so it will be negative 2f of x, which is negative h of x. So it is odd. C. Now I want to know how you know. How did you know, Ya Abdulaziz, for example? How did you know that it is? How you knew that it is odd?
قلت إن الفانكشن مثلا هي x cube x to the power.
Let's call it k, x. So this is k. What you did?
افترضت إن f of x هي x to the power إنه odd function. فلو حطيت f of x to the power 3, you will get f of x equals 0. F of x equals 0 is odd and even function.
This was my question. You don't need to assume specific function. You can do it here. What is this?
Negative.
This is negative f of x. Just instead of this we write negative. Any function minus itself? 0. Now our function, ya shabab, is this. K of x equals to 0. Now how to know that it is even or odd? You will replace x by what? By negative x. What you will get? 0 or negative 0? 0, which is also negative 0. So here we get our function back. Here we get what? The negative of our function. So is it even or odd? It is both, and it is the only function that can be odd and even at the same time. No function can be odd and even at the same time, except the function k of x equals to 0, the 0 function. And if you know, ya shabab, what is this? What is y equal to 0? It is a constant function. It is the x-axis. The x-axis is symmetric about what? The y-axis. And it is symmetric about the origin. So this is why it is odd and even. What about the other functions? What about, for example, k of x equals to 3? This function, it is only even. Why? It is symmetric about what? The y-axis, but not about the origin. And of course, if you replace x by negative x, what you will get? You will get again, no, it is constant. Why you will get negative 3? K of x, it is 3. For any x, it is 3. So it is constant. So the value of the function at negative x, it is the same as the value of the function at x. So this is why this is even. So this function, Shabab, if he said odd, it is true. If he said even, it is true. If he said even and odd at the same time, it is true. The only function that is even and odd at the same time, it is the zero function. The other constant functions, they are even. Okay, what about d? Why d is not true? Let's solve it here. So this is the right answer. D is what? Let's call it g of x, for example, which is f squared. We will take this also in next class. What is the meaning of f squared? It means f of x all to the power 2. It means f of x multiplied by itself. So it means f of x multiplied by f of x. You can think about it like this, but it is easier to write it like this. Now replace x by negative x. What you will get? You will get f of negative x all to the power 2. What is that? What is f at negative x? It is negative f of x because it is odd. Now square negative, when you square it, what you will get? Positive. It will be f of x all what? What is this? This is our function back. This is g of x back. So it is even. And he said what? Symmetric with respect to what? To the origin. This means odd. But indeed it is not. It is what? It is even. So this is why it is not true. The last one, we have explained why it is not true. Okay, I think that's it, Ya Shabab. I will leave the other exercises for you to practice. The function in this graph, is it even or odd or neither? The graph. It is clearly symmetric about the y-axis, so it is even. Okay, let's now start preparing, Ya Shabab, for the